Hey everybody, Dr. Van Atkins here, and welcome to our Done For You Opt-in Baits Part 2. This is our agency funnel. So just to lay the groundwork here of what we're going to be doing in the next hour, I'm going to be talking about these funnels, how I use these funnels to get leads through the door, and what you need to do to make sure you get every bit out of these. I want you to squeeze every little bit of juice out of these things, and this is a great way to do it. So a couple of things before we get started. It's how do we use these funnels, okay? How do we actually use these funnels? Well, this is something that I've got going all the time. I've got ads going to people that are in a particular niche, and I'll show you about that in just a second, but I've got ads going to people that are in a particular niche. And what we are actually doing is we are jumping in and we are helping folks to solve a problem themselves. Okay, so think about this. We are putting out something to the masses in your particular niche, whether it be dentists, chiropractors, restaurants, whatever it may be. We're going to put something out to the masses that helps them solve a problem that they're having with their digital marketing. So getting to the psychology behind these things. Number one is somebody opts into this. If somebody opts into one of these things, either this funnel that I've got, which is what you got in the main package, or if they jump into this particular one, which is what you got if you got to the advanced package, if you jumped in on these, if they jump in on these, what is it that they are telling you? What do you learn if they opt in for one of these things? Now, this is a filtering process in itself, but if they raise their hand and say, yes, I want that thing, what are they effectively telling you? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? So think about this. I've got this right now. This is the generic version, but I've got this optimized typically for a chiropractic market because that's the market that I focus on, right? So it's got some chiropractic branding on it, and when it says business, it would say practice. But when I put this in front of that audience, what happens is if they opt in, they are telling me that they are at least a little bit savvy about digital marketing, right? Number one, they're a little bit savvy about digital marketing. Number two, they realize that they need to be better at it, so they're trying to learn more. And number three, that they see the significance and the power of what we're teaching, right? They see the value behind it. So let me ask you something. If you were to walk into a business cold, or you were to cold call someone, would you want those things to be in place? Would you want those things to be in place? They're a little bit savvy about digital marketing, maybe not too savvy. They know that they need to be more savvy about it. And also, they really, really see the value in this stuff, right? So those are super important things if you were pre-qualifying. What this does for us is this pre-qualifies these people. Now, setting the stage a little more, I am typically making a phone call to these businesses, okay? I'm typically making a phone call to these businesses and talking to them about this stuff, okay? So I'm not calling them right away. What this is typically doing is these opt-ins are setting me up for a phone call. But here's what's so interesting about these. These are designed to get them to call us. These are designed to get them to call us. That's what the email campaigns are going to do. But at the end of the sequence, I am calling the folks that dive in on this. Now, something that you should know. I am typically going to call the people that made it farther in the sequence first. So if you opened all 5 emails that we sent you, you're getting a phone call from me before the people that only opened 4. And they're getting calls quicker than the folks that only opened 3 and 2 and 1 and so on. Does everybody understand that before we go on? I want to get yeses in the box before. Does everybody understand? I'm usually calling these businesses. They qualify themselves by opting in, but they qualify themselves even more by how deep they got into the sequence. Okay. Now, this is super simple. But you should know what I say when I get on the phone. Before we start going through the opt-ins, how many of you would like to know what I say when I actually get on the phone with them? Yeah? It's pretty simple. When I first call, I just say, hey, this has been with so-and-so. You opted in, or somebody in your office opted in for our Facebook page cheat sheet a couple days ago. I just wanted to call and see if you had any questions about that, and if I could set up a time to talk to you about what you guys are doing with your business and what you're doing with your digital marketing in your business. So simple. So basically what I'm doing is I identify who I am, I lock it into what they opted in for, and I say, listen, I'd love to have 15 minutes to talk to you about what you guys are doing with your digital marketing. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, I typically wait the whole 5 days before I call when people are going through the sequence. That's a great question, Howard. Okay. So Howard, the system that I'm using to track them is typically just the automation in my autoresponder. I'm just looking to see how far they got through, and then I'm calling them based on that. Super simple, easy peasy. So Howard, if you're kind of relaying this to how I do it with Pipedrive, which is my CRM, what I'm typically doing, Howard, is I'm moving all the folks that opted in into my Pipedrive, and you can actually do that with ActiveCampaign if you want, or you can do it manually. I'm moving the people that went into my Pipedrive, and I am setting them up based on how far through they got. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody before we go on? Just sort of laying the foundation of this. Yeah? Now, what do I do when I actually get 15 minutes to talk to them about their marketing if they set up that appointment with me by the phone? Well, I'm going through this, I am super simple. I am using our ultimate sales script when I get them on the phone. That's it. If those of you that know what that is, that's simple, but I'm using the ultimate sales script. But that's once I actually get an appointment for 15 minutes to talk to them. My first phone call is not that. My first call is very simply, hey, I noticed that you downloaded the Facebook cheat sheet. I make sure I introduce myself first, of course, and my business. I noticed that you downloaded this. I was just calling to see if you had any questions. And I wonder if maybe you had 15 minutes that we can talk about some of the stuff with your digital marketing. It's just a quick foot in the door, but it's not a cold call because they know who we are because they've gone through this. Does that make sense? And once you start seeing the emails, by the way, you're going to see why this works. Okay?